Welcome to BeFM Drama. I'm your host, Joshua Cornwell, and today we're bringing you part 3 in our adaptation of The Most Dangerous Game, an iconic 1924 short story by the American author Richard Connell. Sanger Rainsford, an accomplished American big game hunter, has fallen from his yacht in the Caribbean and washed up on the private island of General Zaroff. A Cossack, former officer of the Russian Tsar, and an avid hunter. Rainsford has found the general and his mute servant Ivan pleasant enough company, if a little odd, and has been well hosted in the general's luxurious mansion. But Rainsford has started to feel ill at ease as Zaroff has explained how his growing boredom with hunting has driven him to a most unusual solution indeed, the creation of a so-called new animal to hunt and kill on his private isle. Rainsford stared across the table at Zaroff with some confusion. A new animal? You're joking.
Not at all. I never joke about hunting. I needed a new animal. I found one. So I bought this island, built this house, and here I do my hunting. The island is perfect for my purposes. There are jungles with a maze of trails in them, hills, swamps.
But the animal, General Zaroff.
Oh, it supplies me with the most exciting hunting in the world. No other hunting compares with it for an instant. Every day I hunt, and I never grow bored now, for I have a quarry with which I can match my wits.
Rainsford's bewilderment showed in his face.
I wanted the ideal animal to hunt, so I said, what are the attributes of an ideal quarry? And the answer was, of course, it must have courage, cunning, and above all, it must be able to reason.
But no animal can reason.
My dear fellow, there is one that can.
But you can't mean...
And why not?
I can't believe you are serious, General Zaroff. This is a grisly joke.
Why should I not be serious? I am speaking of hunting.
Hunting? Good God, General Zaroff, what you speak of is murder. The general laughed with entire good nature. He regarded Rainsford quizzically.
I refuse to believe that so modern and civilized a young man as you seem to be harbors romantic ideas about the value of human life. Surely your experiences in the war
did not make me condone cold-blooded murder.
How extraordinarily droll you are! One does not expect nowadays to find a young man of the educated class, even in America, with such a naive and, if I may say so, mid-Victorian point of view. It's like finding a snuff-box in a limousine. Ah, well, doubtless you had Puritan ancestors. So many Americans appear to have had. I'll wager you'll forget your notions when you go hunting with me. You'll have a genuine new thrill in store for you, Mr. Rainsford.
Thank you. I'm a hunter, not a murderer.
Dear me, again that unpleasant word. But I think I can show you that your scruples are quite ill-founded. Life is for the strong, to be lived by the strong, and if needs be taken by the strong. The weak of the world were put here to give the strong pleasure. I am strong. Why should I not use my gift? If I wish to hunt, why should I not? I hunt the scum of the earth, sailors from tramp ships, rascals, mongrels. A thoroughbred horse or hound is worth more than a score of them.
But they are men.
Precisely. That is why I use them. It gives me pleasure. They can reason after a fashion, so they are dangerous.
Where do you get them? The general's left eyelid fluttered down in a wink.
This island is called Ship Trap. Sometimes an angry god of the high seas sends them to me. Sometimes, when Providence is not so kind, I help Providence a bit. Come to the window with me.
Rainsford went to the window and looked out toward the sea.
Watch! Out there!
The general pointed into the night. Rainsford's eyes saw only blackness, and then, as the general pressed a button, Far out to sea, Rainsford saw the flash of lights.
They indicate a channel where there is none. Giant rocks with razor edges crouch like a sea monster with wide-open jaws. They can crush a ship as easily as I can crush this nut.
He dropped a walnut on the hardwood floor and brought his heel grinding down on it. He spoke casually, as if to answer a question.
Oh yes, I have electricity. We try to be civilized here.
Civilized? And you shoot down men? A trace of anger was in the general's black eyes, but it was there for but a second, and he said, in his most pleasant manner,
Dear me, what a righteous young man you are! I assure you I do not do the thing you suggest. That would be barbarous. I treat these visitors with every consideration. They get plenty of good food and exercise. They get into splendid physical condition. You shall see for yourself tomorrow.
What do you mean?
We'll visit my training school. It's in the cellar. I have about a dozen pupils down there now. They're from the Spanish bark San Lucar that had the bad luck to go on the rocks out there. A very inferior lot, I regret to say. Poor specimens, more accustomed to the deck than to the jungle.
He raised his hand, and Ivan, who served as a waiter, brought thick Turkish coffee. Rainsford, with an effort, held his tongue in check.
It's a game, you see. I suggest to one of them that we go hunting. I give him a supply of food and an excellent hunting knife. I give him 3 hours' start. I am to follow, armed only with a pistol of the smallest caliber and range. If my quarry eludes me for 3 whole days, he wins the game. If I find him, he loses.
Suppose he refuses to be hunted?
Oh, I give him his option, of course. He need not play the game if he doesn't wish to. If he does not wish to hunt, I turn him over to Ivan. Ivan once had the honor of serving as official interrogator to the great white Tsar, and he has his own ideas of sport. Invariably, Mr. Rainsford, invariably they choose the hunt.
And if they win?
To date, I have not lost. I don't wish you to think me a braggart, Mr. Rainsford. Many of them afford only the most elementary sort of problem. Occasionally I strike a Tartar. One almost did win. I eventually had to use the dogs.
The dogs?
This way, please. I'll show you.
The general steered Rainsford to a window. The lights from the window sent a flickering illumination that made grotesque patterns on the courtyard below, and Rainsford could see, moving about there, a dozen or so huge black shapes. As they turned towards him, their eyes glittered greenly.
A rather good lot. They are let out at 7 every night. If anyone should try to get into my house or out of it, something extremely regrettable would occur to him. And now I want to show you my new collection of heads. Will you come with me to the library?
I hope that you will excuse me tonight, General Zaroff. I'm really not feeling at all well.
Ah, indeed. Well, I suppose that's only natural after your long swim. You need a good, restful night's sleep. Tomorrow you'll feel like a new man, I'll wager. Then we'll hunt, eh? I've one rather promising prospect.
Rainsford was already hurrying from the room.
Sorry you can't go with me tonight. I expect a rather fair sport. A big, strong fellow. He looks resourceful. Well, good night, Mr. Rainsford. I hope you have a good night's rest.
The bed was good, and the pajamas of the softest silk, and he was tired in every fibre of his being. But nevertheless Rainsford could not quiet his brain with the opiate of sleep. He lay, eyes wide open. Once he thought he heard stealthy steps in the corridor outside his room. He sought to throw open the door. It would not open. He went to the window and looked out. His room was high up in one of the towers. The lights of the chateau were out now, and it was dark and silent, but there was a fragment of sallow moon, and by its wan light he could see dimly the courtyard. There, weaving in and out of the pattern of shadow, were black, noiseless forms. The hounds heard him at the window and looked up expectantly with their green eyes. Rainsford went back to the bed and lay down. By many methods he tried to put himself to sleep. He had achieved a doze when, just as morning began to come, he heard, far off in the jungle, the faint report of a pistol. And so the horrifying truth is revealed. General Zaroff hunts men down and kills them for sport, luring the ill-fated crews of passing ships to their doom with fake navigation lights, and selecting the fittest and most cunning survivors as his prey. While Rainsford has avoided the horror of looking in upon Zaroff's collection of human trophies in the library, the American hunter is now trapped, facing the inhuman prospect of being forced to hunt with the murderous Russian general the next day. How will Rainsford escape from the heinous situation he has found himself in? Tune in tomorrow evening to find out here on BeFM Drama.